There are many acronyms that are used to define English language learners, and that's one. ELL are English language learners. There's also ESL students, EFL students, ESOL students. You may have heard the acronym ESP, and I'm going to just quickly differentiate between all of the above. Of course, ESL students is probably the most common term that people are familiar with, and an ESL student is a student who's learning English as a second language. So that might be a student who is from another country who moves to the United States and they're learning English as a second language. However, there's also EFL, which is English as a foreign language. So you will have people, for example, going from the United States. Maybe they're going to Thailand and they learn English, but it's a foreign language because it's not the language that's spoken natively by the people there. That can be a little bit confusing, and so in order to differentiate between the two, we have ESOL, which is English for speakers of other languages, which is an acronym that's used so that you can pull in both ESL and EFL students and use that acronym for both. Also, some people argue that people learn English as a third, fourth, fifth language, so ESL is not a real accurate acronym anyway. And so by saying ESOL, that helps with that distinction. We also have the acronym ELL, which is English Language Learner, and that's used quite a bit in K-12 contexts. You will probably hear ESL in those contexts as well, but in the K-12 environments, you'll often hear ELL. And then, so we've talked about ESL, EFL, ESOL, and ELL. And the final acronym that I'll mention is ESP, and that's English for Specific Purposes. And that's used for English language learners who are learning vocabulary and vernacular that's specific to a particular topic. So for example, business English is English for specific purposes. You might have travel and tourism vocabulary or medical vocabulary that students are learning that's specific to a skill or some vocational training that they're engaged in. So that's ESP. So we've got lots of acronyms to keep track of, and that's a quick overview of all of those acronyms.